arrogant mistake. The grand chamber of the Galactic Council glowed with strange lights. Hundreds of alien species sat in their seats, looking down at the small human delegation standing in the center. The humans looked tiny compared to the massive creatures around them. Ambassador Sarah Chen stood straight, her hands shaking slightly. She held a data pad with Earth's peace proposal. Behind her, 2 other human diplomats waited nervously. "Honored council members," Sarah began, her voice echoing in the huge hall. "Earth comes in peace. We ask only for fair trade agreements and protection under galactic law. We are new to space travel, but we wish to learn and grow with you." A deep, mocking laugh filled the chamber. It came from Commander Zarkul, leader of the Vakrian Empire. He was huge, almost 10 feet tall, with dark blue scales and red eyes that glowed with cruelty. His species had conquered 20 star systems. Protection. Zarkul's voice boomed. "These primitive apes want protection?" More laughter erupted from the alien delegates. Some slapped their strange hands together. Others made clicking sounds that meant amusement in their languages. Sarah's face turned red, but she continued. "We may be new, but Earth has resources you need. Rare minerals, unique biological compounds, skilled workers. We can contribute to the galactic community." "Contribute?" Another alien stood up. This one looked like a giant insect with multiple eyes. "Your planet will contribute, but not as partners. As subjects." "What?" Sarah stepped forward, shock on her face. "We came here for peaceful negotiation." Zarkul stood from his throne, his massive form casting a shadow over the humans. "You misunderstand your position, human. Your star system is rich with resources we need. Your species is weak. No advanced weapons, no strong military, no allies." He walked down the steps toward Sarah, each footstep thundering on the metal floor. "The council has decided," he continued, a cruel smile on his face. "Earth will become a mining colony. Your people will work for us. Be grateful we let you live." Sarah's hands became fists. "You can't do this. This violates the council's own laws about first contact." "Laws?" The insect-like alien laughed. "Laws are for species strong enough to enforce them. What will you do, human? Fight us?" The entire chamber erupted in laughter again. It was the sound of bullies mocking their victim. Sarah looked around at all the alien faces. Some looked amused. Some looked hungry. A few looked away, uncomfortable but silent. No one would help Earth. She took a deep breath and looked directly at Zarkul. Her voice became cold and hard. "You're making a mistake. A terrible mistake." Zarkul leaned down until his face was close to hers. His breath smelled like sulfur. "Are you threatening the Vakrian Empire, little ape?" "No," Sarah said quietly. "I'm warning you. Humans have a saying, don't poke the bear. You should listen." "Bears?" Zarkul straightened up, confused. Then he laughed again. "We are the predators of this galaxy. You are nothing but prey." Sarah touched her communication device. "Then we have nothing more to discuss. Earth's answer is no. We will not surrender. You have no choice." Zarkul roared. "My fleet is already prepared. We will take your planet by force." Sarah and her delegation turned to leave. As they walked toward the exit, she spoke one last time without looking back. "You were given a choice today. You chose war. Remember that when this is over. You chose this." The heavy doors closed behind the humans. In the chamber, Zarkul returned to his throne, still chuckling. Brave words from a species that can barely leave their own planet. "Prepare the invasion fleet. I want Earth conquered in 1 week." His officers saluted and left to carry out the orders. What none of them knew was that Sarah's last words weren't empty threats. They were a signal. Back on Earth, deep in a hidden military bunker, General Marcus Webb received the coded message. He had hoped it wouldn't come to this, but he had prepared for this exact moment. "They rejected peace," he said to the room full of military leaders. "Activate Project Homebound. All defensive systems online. All traps set. All personnel to battle stations." Around the world, hidden facilities came to life. Weapons that had been disguised as innocent structures powered up. Missiles hidden in mountains armed themselves. Soldiers who had been training in secret for years received their orders. Space stations that looked like simple satellites changed their positions, creating an invisible net around Earth. The aliens thought humans were primitive, weak, easy prey. They were about to learn the most important lesson about humanity. Never corner a species that's willing to fight for survival. Above Earth, Commander Zarkul's fleet dropped out of hyperspace. 200 massive warships, armed with weapons that could destroy cities. Zarkul looked at the blue planet on his screen and smiled. "Such a beautiful world," he said. "Soon it will be ours." His tactical officer scanned Earth. "Commander, I'm detecting unusual energy readings from the planet's surface." "Ignore it." Zarkul waved his hand dismissively. "Probably their primitive power plants. Begin the attack. Target their major cities first." The first wave of alien ships moved toward Earth. In his bunker, General Webb watched them come. His jaw was tight, his eyes hard. "Let them get closer," he whispered to his staff. "Let them think they're winning." On the surface, Earth's cities began emergency evacuations. People ran to underground shelters, moving quickly and orderly. They had practiced this drill 100 times. The aliens saw the evacuation and laughed over their communications. "Look at them run," one pilot said, "like scared animals." "This will be easier than we thought," another replied. The alien ships entered Earth's atmosphere, their weapons charging for the first strike. That's when everything changed. Hidden guns emerged from mountains. Satellite weapons revealed themselves. The ocean itself seemed to explode as submarine launchers fired. "What is this?" Zarkul screamed as his screen filled with incoming missiles. General Webb allowed himself a small, cold smile. "Welcome to Earth," he said quietly. "Now let me show you what angry humans can do." The battle for Earth had begun. Human fury unleashed. The alien pilot's last words were a scream of confusion. "They're everywhere." "How?" His ship exploded in a ball of fire, lighting up Earth's sky like a second sun. Commander Zarkul stared at his command screen in disbelief. Red warning lights flashed across every display. Ship after ship on his fleet registry turned from green to black, destroyed. "This is impossible," he roared, slamming his fist on the console. "Our intelligence said they were primitive. Where are these weapons coming from?" His tactical officer's voice shook with fear. "Commander, I'm reading weapon signatures from over 500 hidden locations. Mountains, oceans, deserts, even their ice caps. They're all armed!" From the Rocky Mountains, massive railguns emerged from what had looked like ordinary rock faces. These weren't new inventions. Humans had been building them in secret for 30 years, ever since they first detected alien signals in space. The railguns fired. Solid metal projectiles moving at incredible speeds tore through alien shields like paper. 3 Vakrian destroyers broke apart, their hulls ripped open. "Evasive maneuvers," Zarkul screamed, but the humans had planned for that too. In the cold darkness of space, thousands of objects that looked like space debris suddenly activated. They were mines, floating silent and patient for years. Now they moved, guided by AI swarming toward the alien fleet. Mines. Mines everywhere. An alien captain shouted over the communication channel. "We're surrounded." Explosions bloomed across the battlefield like deadly flowers. Inside Earth's command bunker, General Webb watched the tactical display. Each red dot was an enemy ship. They were dying fast, but not fast enough. "Sir, they're trying to regroup," his second-in-command reported. "Forming defensive formations." "Don't let them," Webb ordered. "Launch the Hornets!" "Yes, sir!" Across Earth, hidden hangars opened. Thousands of small fighter craft shot into the sky. The aliens expected big, clumsy ships like their own. Instead, they faced swarms of fast, agile fighters. The human pilots called themselves Hornets. And like real Hornets, they were angry. "This is Hornet Leader," a woman's voice crackled over the radio. "All wings, attack pattern Delta. Show these aliens what happens when you threaten our home." "Copy that, Leader." "Let's sting these bugs." The Hornets moved like a single organism, weaving through space in patterns the aliens couldn't predict. They were smaller, faster, and they fought with something the aliens didn't understand. Pure fury. A young pilot named Jake Torres locked onto an alien cruiser. His fighter was tiny compared to the massive ship, but he didn't care. These monsters had come to enslave his planet, to take his home, for Earth, he shouted, firing his missiles. The alien ship's point defense tried to shoot down the missiles, but there were too many. 3 struck home, punching holes in the ship's armor. Jake pulled up hard, barely avoiding the explosion behind him. "Got one," he yelled. "Good shot, Jake." His wingman replied. "But we've got more coming." Stay sharp! On the Vakrian command ship, Zarkul watched his fleet fall apart. Out of 200 ships, he had already lost 40. In less than 20 minutes, how are they doing this? He whispered, his red eyes wide with shock. They're supposed to be weak. Our scans showed primitive technology. Commander, his science officer spoke up nervously. I think I understand. They used old technology as camouflage. Their power plants looked primitive because they wanted us to think that. Everything dangerous was hidden underground or disguised. You mean they planned this? Zarkul felt cold fear creeping into his heart. They knew we were coming. Not specifically us, sir, but they prepared for someone. For anyone who would attack them. Zarkul's hands trembled. He had fought many battles, conquered many worlds, but he had never seen defenders this prepared, this angry, this willing to die. Pull back the fleet, he ordered. Get us to safe distance. We need to regroup and, Commander, the tactical officer interrupted. More human ships appearing. They're coming from behind the moon and the asteroid belt. On the command bunker's main screen, General Webb allowed himself a rare smile. Phase 2 was beginning. They thought we only had defenses on Earth, he said to his staff. They didn't think to check the rest of our solar system. For months, human ships had been hiding in the asteroid belt, waiting in the cold and dark. Old mining ships converted to carriers, cargo vessels loaded with missiles, even some passenger ships with weapons bolted to their hulls. They weren't pretty. They weren't advanced, but they were there, and they were angry. All ships, this is Admiral Chen. Sarah's brother commanded from the lead vessel. Form up an attack. No alien leaves this system without permission. The alien fleet was now surrounded. Earth in front, human ships behind and to the sides. They were in a trap. A Vakrian captain's voice came over the emergency channel, panicked and desperate. Commander Zarkul, we're trapped. What are your orders? Zarkul looked at his tactical display. Every direction showed human weapons. His proud fleet was being torn apart by a species he thought was prey. Breakthrough. He ordered. All ships full power to engines. We retreat to hyperspace. The alien ships tried to run. Their engines burned bright as they pushed for escape velocity, but the humans weren't done. Sir, they're trying to flee, Webb's tactical officer reported. I know, Webb replied coldly. Deploy the kamikazes. Hidden among the Hornet fighters were special drones. No pilots inside, just AI and explosives. They had one mission. Stop the aliens from escaping. The drones accelerated, moving faster than any manned ship could safely go. They targeted the alien engine specifically. An alien helmsman screamed as he saw 3 drones heading straight for his ship. Incoming. I can't shake them. The drones hit. The ship's engines exploded, leaving it dead in space. This happened again and again. Ships that tried to run found themselves crippled, floating helplessly. This is insane, an alien officer shouted. They're using suicide attacks. What kind of species does this? What they didn't understand was that humans had been doing this for thousands of years. When defending their homes, humans would sacrifice anything, even themselves. General Webb received a damage report. Earth had lost 70 fighters and 12 capital ships. 328 pilots dead. 2 underground bunkers destroyed by orbital bombardment before the defenses stopped them. Each loss hurt, but Earth was still standing. The alien fleet was broken. Commander Zarkul is trying to broadcast a surrender, the communications officer reported. Denied, Webb said flatly. Jam all their communications except one channel. I want to speak to him directly. A moment later, Zarkul's face appeared on the screen. The proud commander looked defeated, his scales dull with fear. Human General, he began. We surrender. Please cease fire. We will leave your system and never return. Webb leaned forward, his eyes like ice. You came to conquer us, to make us slaves. You laughed when we asked for peace. We were wrong. Please show mercy. Mercy? Webb's voice was soft but deadly. Like the mercy you plan to show us. No, Commander. You don't get to leave. Not yet. What do you want? Webb smiled, but it wasn't a kind smile. I want you to send a message. To your empire. To the Galactic Council. To everyone in this galaxy. What message? You're going to show them what happened here today. Every destroyed ship. Every dead warrior. You're going to tell them exactly what happens when someone attacks Earth. Zarkul's eyes widened with understanding and horror. You want me to humiliate myself? To show our defeat? No, Webb corrected. I want you to save lives. Because if other species see what happened to you, maybe they'll think twice before trying the same thing. Zarkul looked at his ruined fleet on his own screens. He had no choice. I will send your message, he whispered. Good, Webb said. And, Commander, tell them one more thing. Tell them Earth wanted peace, but if they bring war, we'll give them more war than they can handle. The transmission ended. Around Earth, the human forces held their positions. The battle was won, but everyone knew this wasn't over. In space stations across the galaxy, the Galactic Council members watched Zarkul's forced broadcast. They saw his destroyed fleet. They heard his humiliating confession. Some felt anger. Some felt fear. All of them realized the same thing. They had underestimated humanity, and that mistake would change everything. The message that shook the galaxy, the Galactic Council chamber, was silent for the first time in its 1,000-year history. On the massive holographic screen, Commander Zarkul's defeated face stared out at the assembled delegates. Behind him, the wreckage of his once mighty fleet drifted in space like broken toys. This is Commander Zarkul of the Vakrian Empire. His voice was hollow, empty of pride. I am transmitting this message under human orders. The word human sent a ripple through the chamber. Whispers in dozens of alien languages filled the air. Zarkul continued, each word clearly painful for him. My fleet of 200 warships attacked Earth, expecting an easy victory. We were wrong. The humans were prepared. They had weapons hidden across their entire solar system. They fought with a ferocity we have never encountered. The screen changed, showing recordings of the battle. Alien ships exploding. Human fighters swarming like angry insects. Railgun fire tearing through Vakrian armor. Kamikaze drones sacrificing themselves without hesitation. Out of 200 ships, Zarkul's voice cracked. Only 43 remain functional. We lost over 15,000 warriors. The humans lost less than 500. Gasps echoed through the chamber. The insect-like delegate who had mocked Earth stood up, his multiple eyes fixed on the screen. This is impossible. The Vakrians are elite warriors. How could primitives? They are not primitives. Zarkul's shout interrupted him. That was our mistake. They wanted us to think that. They hid their true strength and waited for someone to attack. We walked into their trap like fools. The screen shifted again. This time it showed something that made even the bravest council members uncomfortable. It showed Earth's defensive grid. Weapons everywhere. In mountains, under oceans disguised as innocent structures. The entire planet was a fortress. But that's not the worst part. Zarkul continued, his voice dropping to almost a whisper. The worst part is what they're doing right now. The view changed to show space around Earth. The remaining Vakrian ships were completely surrounded. Human vessels, fighters, and weapon platforms formed an unbreakable cage. They won't let us leave, Zarkul said. We are prisoners. They control our communications. They could destroy us at any moment, but instead, they're making us send this message. A new voice came through the transmission, calm, cold, and human. This is General Marcus Webb of Earth Defense Command. Every alien in the council chamber leaned forward. This was the first time most of them had heard a human military leader speak. People of the galaxy. Webb's voice was steady and clear. Earth did not want this war. We came to you in peace. We asked for fair treatment. We were refused. We were mocked. We were threatened with slavery. The screen split, showing Webb standing in his command bunker. He was shorter than most aliens, his hair gray with age, but his eyes were hard as steel. So we defended ourselves, Webb continued. And we won. Now you need to understand something very important. This, he gestured to the destroyed Vakrian fleet. This is what happens to anyone who attacks our home. He took a step closer to the camera. We don't want to be your enemies. We don't want to conquer anyone. We just want to live in peace. But if you bring war to Earth, we will show you what real war looks like. The transmission shifted back to Zarkul. The humans have given us a choice, he said quietly. We can continue fighting and die here, or we can accept their terms. What terms? Someone in the council shouted. Zarkul looked directly into the camera. First, the Vakrian Empire must pay reparations to Earth for the damage we caused. Second, we must publicly apologize and acknowledge that our attack was unprovoked. Third, we must support Earth's petition for protected status in the galactic community. Outrage erupted in the council chamber. Aliens stood, shouting in their various languages. The idea of the mighty Vakrian Empire apologizing to anyone was unthinkable, but Zarkul wasn't finished. And finally, he said, his voice becoming even quieter, they are releasing one of our ships, just one, to go home and tell our leaders what happened here. The screen showed a single Vakrian cruiser, damaged but functional, being escorted away from Earth by human fighters. They're letting it go? A council member asked, confused. Why? To deliver a warning, another replied, understanding dawning. They want the Vakrians to know exactly what they're facing. General Webb's face appeared on screen again. We're letting one ship go home. The rest will be returned after the Vakrian Empire agrees to our terms. And let me be very clear about something. His expression grew harder. This message isn't just for the Vakrians. It's for all of you. Every species in this council. Every empire in this galaxy. He paused, letting his words sink in. Earth is off limits. Our solar system is off limits. We claim it as sovereign territory. Anyone who respects that will find us friendly neighbors. Anyone who doesn't... The screen showed the destroyed Vakrian ships again. You will end up like them. The transmission ended. The council chamber exploded into chaos. Delegates shouted at each other. Some demanded immediate military action against Earth. Others called for caution. A few quietly began calculating how this changed the balance of power. The council leader, an ancient being called the Eldest, raised his hand for silence. It took several minutes for the chamber to quiet down. This is unprecedented, the Eldest said, his voice like grinding stones. A species barely capable of faster-than-light travel has defeated one of our strongest military forces. And now they make demands of us. We should crush them. A warrior species delegate roared. Send the full might of the council fleet. Show them what real power looks like. And lose how many ships? A more cautious voice asked. How many lives? If the Vakrians lost that badly, what makes you think we would do better? They got lucky. Another shouted. They can't have that many weapons. They were probably using everything they had. Can you prove that? The Eldest asked. Are you willing to bet your fleet on that assumption? Silence fell again. The Eldest continued. The humans have shown us something important today. They have shown us that underestimating them is fatal. They have also shown us that they were preparing for this day long before we knew they existed. He looked around the chamber slowly, which means they understood galactic politics better than we thought. They knew someone would eventually try to take their world, so they prepared. They were patient. They were smart, so what do we do? Someone asked. The Eldest was quiet for a long moment. We do something this council has rarely done. We listen, we negotiate. We give Earth what they ask for. Never, the warrior delegate shouted. We don't negotiate with primitives. They are not primitives, the Eldest said firmly. That is the lesson we must learn. They are dangerous. They are prepared. And they are willing to fight to the death for their home. He stood, his ancient body creaking. I'm calling for an emergency vote. Earth's petition for protected status. All in favor? Hands, claws, tentacles, and other appendages slowly rose across the chamber. Not everyone voted yes, but enough did. Motion passes, the Eldest declared. Earth is granted protected status. Their solar system is recognized as sovereign territory. Any attack on Earth will be considered an act of war against the Council itself. Some delegates cheered. Others sat in angry silence. Far away on Earth, General Webb received the news. His staff began celebrating, but he remained quiet. Sir? His second-in-command asked. We won. Earth is safe now. Webb shook his head slowly. For now. But we made a lot of enemies today. The species who wanted to exploit us won't forgive this. They'll wait. They'll plan. And eventually someone will try again. Then what do we do? Webb looked at the star map on his screen. We keep preparing. We keep building. We keep getting stronger. Because the next time someone comes for Earth, they won't make the same mistakes the Vakrians did. In space above Earth, the remaining Vakrian ships waited for their empire's response. It came 3 days later. The Vakrian Emperor himself appeared in transmission, his face twisted with rage and humiliation. But he agreed to Earth's terms. He had no choice. When the Vacrian fleet finally limped away from Earth, every human who watched felt a mixture of emotions. Pride in their victory, sorrow for those lost, and worry about what came next. Because while Earth had won this battle, they had also painted a target on themselves. The galaxy now knew humans were strong, but some species saw that as a challenge, not a warning. And in the dark corners of space, new plans were already being made, plans that would test humanity's strength again, and sooner than anyone expected. The second wave's nightmare 6 months had passed since Earth's victory over the Vacrians. In the Kralix homeworld, deep inside a war room built from black metal and conquest, Emperor Thraxkan watched the battle recordings for the 100th time. His 4 eyes blazed with cold intelligence as human fighters destroyed Vacrian ships. The Vacrians were weak, he said, his voice like grinding metal, soft from too many easy victories. They underestimated the humans. We will not make that mistake. His war councils stood around the strategic table, each one a veteran of countless battles. The Kralix Empire had never lost a war. Ever. General Vextor, his most trusted commander, gestured to the holographic display. My Emperor, the humans used guerrilla tactics, hidden weapons, surprise attacks. They fought without honor. Honor? Thraxkan laughed, a harsh sound that made even his own warriors uncomfortable. Honor is what the weak call their defeats. The humans fought smart. They used every advantage. That is not weakness. That is strength. He turned to face his council. This is why we will defeat them. We respect their cunning. We prepare for their tricks, and we bring overwhelming force that no amount of hidden weapons can stop. How large a fleet, my Emperor? Vextor asked. 500 warships, Thraxkan declared. Triple what the Vacrians brought. Each ship equipped with our latest weapons, our best warriors, our strongest shields. Murmurs of approval rippled through the council. But my Emperor, a science officer spoke up hesitantly. The Galactic Council declared Earth-protected territory. If we attack, we risk the Council? Thraxkan's laugh was cold. The Council is afraid. They granted Earth protection not because humans deserve it, but because the Council fears what it doesn't understand. Well, I do not fear. I understand perfectly. He pointed at the frozen image of a human fighter pilot on the screen. These creatures fight well when defending. But can they attack? Can they project power beyond their little planet? No. They are strong in their nest, but nowhere else. So we draw them out? Vextor asked. No, Thraxkan smiled, showing rows of sharp teeth. We go in prepared. Full assault, no tricks. Pure military power. We will show the galaxy that human luck has run out. 3 months later, the Kralix war fleet assembled at the edge of human-controlled space. 500 ships, each one larger and more advanced than anything the Vacrians had brought. On the command Dreadnought, General Vextor reviewed his battle plans. He had studied every second of the Vacrian defeat. He knew where their mistakes were. He would not repeat them. All ships report ready, General, his tactical officer announced. Good, Vextor replied. Begin long-range scans of Earth's solar system. I want to know the location of every weapon, every ship, every hidden platform. The scanners worked for hours, creating a detailed map of Earth's defenses. What they found made even the confident Kralix pause. General, the scanning officer's voice was uncertain. The humans have tripled their defensive installations since the Vacrian attack. Show me. The holographic display lit up with red markers. They were everywhere. Earth looked like a planet made of weapons. More railguns in the mountains, the officer pointed out. New missile batteries on the moon. At least 50 additional battle stations in orbit. And sir, they've built something around Mars. We can't identify it, but the energy readings are massive. Vextor studied the display carefully. They've been busy. Good. It means they're afraid. Or prepared, another officer muttered quietly. Vextor shot him a sharp look. Prepared with what? More primitive kinetic weapons? We have energy shields designed specifically to stop their railguns. We have point defense systems that can destroy their missiles. We have jamming technology for their communications. He stood tall, confident. The humans got lucky against the Vacrians. Against us, they will learn the difference between a real military power and an arrogant fool like Zarkul. Should we attempt communication, General? Offer terms of surrender? No, Vextor decided. We jump in, strike hard, and finish this quickly. The longer we give them, the more tricks they can prepare. On Earth, alarms blared across every military installation. General Webb rushed into the command bunker, still putting on his jacket. Report! Sir, massive fleet detected at the system's edge, his tactical officer said. 500 ships, Kralix Empire signatures. Webb felt his stomach drop. 500. Mother of God. They're bigger than Vakrian ships too, sir. Heavier armor, stronger shields. Our intelligence says Kralix technology is at least 50 years more advanced than the Vakrians. Webb looked at the strategic display. His defenses were better than during the last battle. But 500 ships? That was a different kind of problem. Get me Admiral Chen, he ordered, and activate Protocol Olympus. If we're going to survive this, we need everything we've got. In orbit above Earth, Admiral James Chen received the alert on his flagship. He looked older now, more tired. The last battle had cost him friends. This one would cost more. All ships, battle stations, he commanded. This is not a drill. The Kralix are here, and they brought their entire war fleet. His second-in-command, Captain Rodriguez, checked her display. Sir, we've got 92 operational warships. They have 500. The math doesn't look good. The math never looks good when you're defending your home, Chen replied. But we have advantages. We know this system better than they do. We've had months to prepare, and we have something they don't. What's that, sir? Chen looked at Earth on the view screen, that beautiful blue marble floating in space. We're fighting for everything we love. They're fighting for conquest. That makes all the difference. The Kralix fleet began moving into the solar system, their engines burning bright against the darkness of space. Vextor watched Earth grow larger on his screen. Launch scout ships. I want real-time data on their defensive positions. 12 small Kralix scouts shot forward, moving fast and evasive. They were designed to survive long enough to gather information and return. None of them made it back. What happened? Vextor demanded. New weapon, sir. The tactical officer reported, panic in his voice. Some kind of directed energy beam. It's firing from that structure near Mars. It destroyed all our scouts in seconds. Vextor stared at the display. The mysterious structure around Mars was now clearly visible, glowing with power. What is that thing? On Earth, General Webb smiled grimly. Fire up the Mars cannon again. Let's show them what we built with all that Vakrian technology we captured. The structure around Mars was humanity's secret project. Using reverse-engineered alien technology combined with human innovation, they had built the largest directed energy weapon ever created. It drew power directly from the sun, using massive solar collectors, and it was aimed right at the Kralix fleet. Charging complete, the weapons officer reported. Target locked. Fire. A beam of concentrated energy, bright as a star, lanced across space. It struck the lead Kralix battleship, punching through its shields like they weren't even there. The ship exploded, taking 2 others with it in the blast. Impossible! Vextor roared. Our shields should have stopped that. Shields are ineffective, sir, his engineer shouted. That weapon is using a frequency we can't block. Then spread out. Don't give them clustered targets. All ships evasive patterns. The Kralix fleet broke formation, ships scattering in all directions. It saved them from another Mars cannon shot, but it also meant they lost their coordinated approach. Good, Admiral Chen said, watching from his flagship. They're rattled. Now we hit them while they're disorganized. All human ships attack pattern Delta 7. Let's show them what we learned from the last battle. The human fleet moved forward, but not in a straight line. They used asteroids for cover, popped out to fire, then disappeared again. Hit and run. Guerrilla warfare in space. A Kralix captain found himself being attacked from 3 directions at once. How are they coordinating so well? We're jamming their communications. They're not using radio, his technical officer realized. They're using laser communications. Tight beam, impossible to jam. The human ships fought differently than the Vakrians expected. They didn't try to match the Kralix ship to ship. Instead, they targeted engines, weapon systems, and bridge sections. Surgical strikes that crippled rather than destroyed. "This is Hornet Squadron," a pilot called over the laser comm. "We're seeing something weird. Their shields are strong against energy weapons, but weaker against physical impacts." Admiral Chen heard this and smiled. "All railgun platforms focus fire on ships with active shields. Let's test that theory." Earth's railguns, silent and patient, opened fire. Solid metal slugs, moving at incredible speeds, slammed into Kralix's shields. The shields flickered, wavered, and failed. "Our shields can't handle their kinetic weapons," a Kralix engineer reported. Vextor felt control of the battle slipping away. This wasn't supposed to happen. They had superior numbers, superior technology, superior training, but the humans were fighting on their home ground. Every asteroid had been mapped. Every orbit calculated. Every angle of attack rehearsed 1,000 times. "Pull back to defensive formation," Vextor ordered. "Regroup at coordinates. General, human boarding parties, what?" On his screen, Vextor saw something that made his blood run cold. Small human ships were attaching to Kralix's hulls like parasites. They were cutting through the armor and sending soldiers. Inside, the humans had learned this trick from capturing Vakrian ships. Why destroy an enemy vessel when you could take it intact? Inside a Kralix cruiser, a team of human marines breached the hull. They wore armor built from captured alien technology, adapted for human bodies. They moved fast, fought hard, and showed no fear. Sergeant Maria Santos led her squad through the alien corridors. "Remember your training. Kralix are strong but slow. Use your speed." A Kralix warrior appeared 8 feet tall and covered in natural armor. He roared and charged. Maria dodged to the side, her enhanced armor making her faster than any unarmored human. She fired her weapon, targeting the weak points in Kralix anatomy that intelligence had identified. The warrior fell. "Keep moving," Maria shouted. "We need the bridge." Her squad fought through the ship, taking casualties but never stopping. When they reached the bridge, they found the Kralix captain and his crew. "Surrender your ship," Maria demanded, her weapon trained on the captain. The Kralix captain looked at her with all 4 eyes. This small human, barely half his size, had fought through his entire crew. He saw his own warriors lying defeated in the corridors behind her. "You fight with honor," he said slowly. "I surrender." This scene repeated across a dozen Kralix ships. Humans boarded. Humans fought. Humans won. General Vextor watched his fleet fall apart. In 6 hours of battle, he had lost over 100 ships. Many more were captured. Human casualties were a fraction of his own. "This cannot be," he shouted. "We are the Kralix Empire. We have never been defeated." "General," his tactical officer said quietly. "Perhaps that's the problem. We've never faced an enemy this desperate, this creative, this human." Vextor stared at Earth on his screen. The planet that should have been an easy conquest. The planet that was now his nightmare. He opened a communication channel. "Human forces, this is General Vextor. I request terms of negotiation." On his flagship, Admiral Chen received the message. He looked tired, but satisfied. "Patch him through," Chen ordered. Vextor's face appeared on screen. He looked defeated, humiliated, but also confused. "How?" he asked simply. "How did you defeat us? We brought 500 ships. The best warriors in the galaxy. The most advanced weapons. How?" Admiral Chen was quiet for a moment. Then he spoke, his voice carrying the weight of human history. "Because you came to take our home. And humans will do anything, become anything, sacrifice anything to protect what we love. You fought for glory. We fought for survival. That's why you lost." Vextor lowered his head. "What are your terms?" "The same as we gave the Vakrians," Chen replied. "Reparations, public apology, and you get to keep 1 ship to go home and tell your emperor what happened here. He will not believe it. He will when he sees the recordings. And General, tell him something for me. Tell him Earth is done being underestimated. The next species that comes here won't even get the chance to surrender." The transmission ended. In the Kralix Empire, Emperor Thraxkun would receive his general's report 3 weeks later. He would watch the battle recordings in silence. And for the first time in his long life, he would feel something he had never felt before. Fear. Because Earth had just proven something terrifying to the entire galaxy. Humans weren't just lucky. They were evolving, learning, adapting, and they were getting stronger. Earth's place in the galaxy. The emergency session of the Galactic Council was the most attended meeting in its history. Every species, every empire, every independent world sent representatives. They all wanted to see what would happen next. The chamber buzzed with nervous energy. Holographic displays showed the same images over and over. Kralik ships destroyed. Human marines boarding alien vessels. General Vextor's defeated face. The eldest called the session to order, his ancient voice cutting through the noise like a blade. "We are here to discuss the Earth situation," he announced. "In 6 months, humans have defeated 2 major military powers, the Vakrian Empire and the Kralix Empire. Both attacks were unprovoked. Both ended in human victory." A reptilian delegate stood up, his scales shimmering with agitation. "This is unacceptable. Earth is becoming too powerful, too dangerous. We should act now before they become a threat to everyone." Murmurs of agreement rippled through parts of the chamber. A threat? A new voice spoke from the entrance. Everyone turned. Standing there, flanked by 2 armed guards, was Ambassador Sarah Chen. She walked into the chamber with her head held high, no longer the nervous diplomat who had been mocked months ago. "Ambassador Chen," the eldest acknowledged, "you were not invited to this session." "No," Sarah agreed, walking to the center of the chamber. "I wasn't, but I came anyway. Because you're discussing Earth's future, and we deserve to be heard." "You have no right," the reptilian delegate began. "We have every right." Sarah's voice echoed through the chamber. "You want to talk about threats? Let's talk about who the real threats are." She activated her data pad. Images appeared on the main display. Documents, communications, secret files. "What is this?" the eldest asked. "This," Sarah said coldly, "is the truth. These are files we recovered from captured Kralik ships. Files that show a very interesting story." The first document appeared. It was a communication between the Galactic Council and the Kralix Emperor, dated 3 weeks before the Kralix attack. Sarah read it aloud. "To Emperor Thraxkan, the Council cannot officially support military action against Earth. However, if such action were to occur, we would not intervene. Earth's resources would be divided among contributing parties." Gasps filled the chamber. Several delegates stood up shouting denials. "Lies!" the reptilian delegate roared. "Those documents are fake." "Are they?" Sarah pulled up another file. This one is from the Vakrian Empire. A secret agreement signed by 12 council members. It details how Earth would be carved up after conquest. Who gets our water? Who gets our minerals? Who gets our people as slave labor? She looked around the chamber, her eyes hard. "You want to call us a threat? You planned to enslave us before we even joined the galactic community. You attacked us twice. And when we defended ourselves, you call us dangerous?" The chamber erupted into chaos. Some delegates tried to shout over each other. Others quietly tried to leave. The eldest slammed his staff on the ground, demanding silence. "These accusations are serious, Ambassador Chen," he said. "Do you have proof these documents are authentic?" "I have better than proof," Sarah replied. "I have witnesses." The chamber doors opened again. In walked 3 aliens, a Vakrian officer, a Kralix captain, and a small, bird-like creature from a species called the Pixin. The Vakrian officer stepped forward. "My name is Commander Jexal. I was part of the planning committee for the invasion of Earth. Everything Ambassador Chen said is true. The Council secretly approved our attack." "I am Captain Velkan of the Kralix Empire," the second alien said. "I was captured by humans during the battle. They treated me with respect, fed me, healed my wounds. Then they showed me these files from my own ship. I was ashamed. My empire was lied to. We were told Earth attacked us first. It was a lie." The small bird-like alien spoke last, her voice trembling. "I am Scholar Tixip of the Pixin Confederacy. I work in the Council archives. 2 months ago I was ordered to destroy certain documents. Documents about Earth, about secret agreements. I was told this was routine, but I kept copies because something felt wrong." She looked at the assembled delegates. "I am a scholar. Truth matters to me. And the truth is that this council plotted against Earth from the beginning. You saw a species rich in resources and weak in power. You decided to take what you wanted." Silence fell over the chamber. Heavy, uncomfortable. The eldest looked older than his thousands of years. "Is this true?" he asked the council members. "Did you authorize these attacks?"